Hello and welcome back to another brand new movie review, where, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, it is another Tales from my backlog, specifically the original version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So I've never seen that original version. I've only ever seen bits and pieces of it through clips through other media, such as Home Alone, for example, as well as, the well-known song of Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch, which features heavily throughout this, the 25-minute short. And what did I think about it? Now that I finally watched it, and I think, it is good. Don't get me wrong. It's popular for a reason. It's popular why a lot of people watch this version every year at Christmas, and why it's probably shown every year at Christmas, is because it's just one of those influential bits of media that's been around for nearly 60 years. However, I feel that my opinion on it is I still prefer the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because it fleshes out the backstory of the Grinch and why he hates Christmas and why he hates the Who's at Whoville, why he then decides to go and rob, everyone blind, essentially. Like, I know it does explain in this movie, because, he hates the noise every Christmas, the singing, the playing of these weird instruments, and the toys and all that. And I can understand that, as an autistic person, I definitely hate loud sounds. So, I empathize with the Grinch on that one. However, I ain't going to go around, stealing people's toys over that. But again, like I said, it for what it is, I do like it. The animation style for it, as well as the artwork and certain still frames, honestly still holds up. Like I said, nearly 60 years later, the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. I obviously again heard bits of it growing up, but never listened to it in full in this movie's context. And then there's a bit of with the Who's down at Whoville singing that immediately clocked. Oh, I recognize that, not because of this, but because of Team 4-Star.
Hooray! Everyone give praise to our new violent savior!
Bahudores, Bahudores.
No! None of that! Shame on you!
Who assassinated 2 emissaries from the Frost Planet?
You mean the violent savior? All hail the violent savior!
Bahudores. No! None of that! Shame on you!
In case you don't know who Team 4-Star are, that means you're not a Dragon Ball fan, really, because they done a bridge series of Dragon Ball where they done their own spin on certain stuff. So for when they done the episode of Bardock special, I'm gonna have to put that in air quotes because it's not really a special. It's more like 12 minutes. It's they have their version of that in it as a running gag for 2 bits of it, and I love that. And so hearing that version of in this movie, I immediately clicked and recognized that reference, and I love that. I love being able to see something as like the original source material, and then go back to watch the something that I know references it, and now finally get the full scope of the references, because that happened to me with Star Trek the original series. Until last year I had only seen like a small handful of episodes from season 1 episode of season 2, and 0 episodes from season 3. But now that I've done that watch through, I can going back to say different aspects of Star Trek, like Lower Decks, for example, I was able to pick up on some of those jokes there and some of the references in other Trek medium. And with this movie, I can now do that with that song and the Team 4-Star's version of episode of Bardock. Will I ever watch this again? Probably not. Probably not in my lifetime. Like I said, I still prefer the Jim Carrey's How I Grinch Stole Christmas, which I reviewed last year. Excuse me, a bit of a hiccup there. Because I love Jim Carrey and I love his portrayal of it. You know, we've only had three different versions of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We've had this original one from 1966. We've had the Jim Carrey's version from the late 90s, early 2000s. And then we had the other animated Grinch one with Benedict Cumberbatch. Which that's another one that I still have to watch. Maybe next year I'll watch that version and be able to, you know, properly say which of the three is my favorite. More than likely, it's still going to be Jim Carrey's How I Grinch Stole Christmas because that's the version I grew up on, and that's the one I've latched on to. And a lot of people have latched on to Jim Carrey's interpretation of the Grinch, because I still see, you know, every Christmas I see TikTok videos of a Grinch character, for around Christmas time, always emulating Jim Carrey's version of the Grinch. Never the original 1966 version or the reanimated Benedict Cumberbatch's interpretation from a few years ago. It's always been Jim Carrey's one, because that's what a lot of a lot of millennials, elder Gen Z, like myself, grew up watching nearly every Christmas. And yeah, like I said, I still enjoyed the original version of it, the way that it was probably intended to be seen. But I still prefer the Jim Carrey version because it fleshed out everything. It got a chance to actually flesh out what more than what we were shown in the short. Now, I haven't read the original version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, so I don't know, you know, which is the more true, accurate version. I think the 1966 one might be the most accurate version of it. But regardless of that, I'm happy that I've actually crossed this off my list because I've been meaning to watch it for so long, and I thought it was actually longer than the 25 minutes. Just because, like I said, I never watched it, and whenever around Christmas time, I never see that version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, except for, you know, clips like in Home Alone, the very first Home Alone movie. That's where I seen the clip of it, and then of course, you know, listening to Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch, every now and again using Home Alone as an example, it appears in that movie. I just never got around to until I decided what to cover for this year's Christmas. I was like, let me actually give this a shot, since last year I reviewed the Jim Carrey version. So there you guys go. That is my honest opinion of the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas from A Tale from My Backlog. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all on Friday for my review. It's not a review. It's my top 10 favorite Doctor Who Christmas specials. So I'll catch you all on that upload.